What do you think men would dislike most if they became women? Depends where you are in the world, but many freedoms afforded to men that they would no longer have. This so much. I am my dad's property until I marry a man, then I am his problem. He doesn't say these words to me because we live in America, but this is still how he views it, how his whole family views it. My dad said close to the same thing. There's no reason to send a girl to college unless she can catch a wealthier man. Women just get married and have babies and become another man's responsibility. His last immigrant ancestor came over mid-1800s, so not even any cultural excuse. This was bred and born white US of A. How difficult it is to get taken seriously when you need medical care. Edit. Even if, like me, you're a size 4. I just got diagnosed with PCOS after suspecting it for 13 years because my previous doctors didn't take my concerns seriously. I'm insulin resistant now because of it. It's insane. Aside from the obvious physical differences and new challenges they present, I would say being really good and skilled at something and then having people take your work less seriously because of something as irrelevant as gender. Pap smear, and we'll reassure them you'll just feel a slight pinch. Let me up the ante since I came here to say this, colposcopies. I had one colposcopy in my 20s and I was sobbing on the table. Now I've been a nurse over 20 years. I assured my doctor, different one, that I would not be having another one when my pap came back suspicious unless I was under conscious sedation. She said she'd give me a Xanax instead. No, because I'm only anxious about how much it hurt. She kept calling it anxiety. I told her if she called it anxiety again, I'd be getting a different doctor. I had it under conscious sedation and it was so much better. The CRNA even gave me IV Toradol. I had almost zero pain after. The fact that damn near the entire medical industry still doesn't fully include women. Like, yeah, there's been a lot of progress, but a lot of it was extremely recent. If you dive into women's healthcare, you constantly find yourself going, yo, what the fuck? The fuck do you mean one of the most in-depth studies for endometriosis was how it affected the woman's partner? The fuck do you mean female hygiene product companies don't use blood for testing? The fuck do you mean women weren't included in clinical trials for medications until the fucking 90s? Mini break. I'm on a mission to reach 100 subs this month. If you're still watching, maybe your destiny is to hit subscribe. Just saying. How difficult it is to be taken seriously, ever. A trip to the mechanic? Good fucking luck. I am a female amateur mechanic, but feel I have a good grasp of both cost of parts and general part wear and tear, as my boyfriend and I built my car together in our garage over the past 3 years, and I also support him at his race events. So imagine my shock and how insulting it felt when the specialist who built my engine and knew it was mine, knows I'm paying it entirely, knows I chose all the parts myself, dropped the engine off at our unit and barely looked at me, explained next steps to my boyfriend, shook his hand, didn't say thank you for the $3K I gave him the day before or for the business. I've known this mechanic for almost 7 to 8 years. I've been to 3 of his birthday dinners, I've bought merch and supported him in his business. And to receive that type of service was disgusting. Ha, this reminds me of an army recruitment experience I had at some kind of car show I was at with my ex when I was about 18 or 19. Sorry, I'm not a car person, can't give more detail than that. Anyway, the army recruitment area had a rock climbing wall. It was actually pretty tall and looked decent despite being a temporary setup. At the time, I'd been rock climbing for years, so I got my boyfriend and I to do it for fun. I scaled it in no time. My boyfriend couldn't even make it halfway. As we were taking off our harnesses, one of the officers came up to us, looked at my boyfriend and said, "We need men like you." All the creepy men who hound them and don't take no for an answer, both when it comes to sex and when it comes to normal relationships. I have had so many guys do terrible stuff to me only because I rejected them when they asked to date me. The weaponization of your own emotions against you. Happy? You're a ditzy, silly girl. Sad? You're a baby and probably on your period. Angry? You're a bitch and also probably on your period. Basically, any public emotional expression as a woman can be turned against you, and if you don't show enough emotion, you're a frigid robot. Most men I have interacted with do not have anywhere near the emotional flexibility to navigate that tightrope. To be honest, so many men think that women can express our feelings whenever we want and that our feelings are always taken seriously. They are not. We have the advantage that we have a much better chance of having a safe space for venting our feelings to others than men do, but we're treated like shit for having feelings too. Slightly unrelated, but my partner said this when talking about how annoying periods are. It is insane that biology is so skewed to women having a naturally harder time just being human. Word. A lot of people are answering with how women are treated, but I'd think the most striking thing would be the hormonal and mood and energy changes week to week from our cycles. There is nothing more frustrating than feeling thwarted by one's own body. The concept that you can be raped and forced to deliver your rapist's baby, and in some states then have to share custody with your rapist, and in some countries, marry your rapist. How, if you're a lone female in a room or a meeting full of males, they gloss over what you say or ignore comments, but when the exact idea repeated by a male, it's suddenly brilliant. I really thought this was a trope. Sure, it happens sometimes, but maybe it's the personality in the room, and then experienced it directly multiple times in the space of a month. There was a man in the room who could see it happening, bless him, repeated what I said with, "I think that follows on from the point, competitive pay made, right?" Or similar 3 times in the space of 5 minutes. And to be fair, it was women ignoring what I was saying just as much as the men. It was just so obvious as to be comedic. I remember thinking if this was like a comedy skit, it wouldn't even be believable. Periods and pregnancy. And menopause. Periods are the worst, bane of my existence. After having kids, they got worse. How unsafe the world can feel. Women deal with danger daily. Catcalling, getting harassed or assaulted, or even just walking alone at night feels frightening. There's probably more places in the world where it's not safe to be a woman alone than not. It's hard to think of a single country in the world where you could put down your drink with total confidence it would be safe. Or that, if something was put in it, you wouldn't be blamed for being so trusting. How every medical appointment, for any reason, starts with, "And when was the date of your most recent period?" And then, of course, how any reproductive-related issue ends in, "Well, losing 5% of your body weight will probably solve that." Oh, and my favorite, how often you get tested for pregnancy. In my 20s, I had an infertility diagnosis, PCOS, and an IUD. The ER doc still tested me for pregnancy when I needed antibiotics for a tick bite, even after I told him I hadn't had sex in almost a year. How much of your mental energy is taken up with thinking about your personal safety? And how much shit you get for trying to take sensible safety precautions? And how much shit you get when something happens to you, regardless of what precautions you take?
There is literally no way to win, because if nothing happens, you were clearly just being paranoid, and if something happens, it's because you weren't trying to protect yourself hard enough.
So that's it for today's story. Ladies, what do you think men would dislike most if they became women? If you had fun listening, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and tap the little bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for hanging out. See you soon.